is going on, YouTube? My name is Nick, and welcome back to another episode of the Good Schmidt podcast. This is episode 24, and today I'm going to be talking about the NBA playoffs. In particular, I'm going to be recapping the Bucks and Heat first round series, as well as the Celtics and Nets first round series, and then previewing the series that I am most excited about in these 2021 NBA playoffs, and that is the Milwaukee Bucks taking on the Brooklyn Nets. Yeah, I will get to that. I'm very excited. So starting off, I'm going to be discussing the Bucks dismantling revenge that they got on the Miami Heat in the first round, in which they swept the Heat in 4 games. Very impressive stuff on the Bucks. I'm going to go game by game here and talk about each game, starting with game one, in which both teams were struggling to score from the floor, but it had a very dramatic ending. Chris Middleton hit a game-winning jump shot in overtime to lift the Bucks with .5 left on the clock. And Middleton scored 27 points in that game in total. Brook Lopez played really strong defense in game one. And yeah, it was a really exciting game. Jimmy Butler was able to force overtime on with a layup. I don't know why the Bucks didn't defend it. Besides that, they probably didn't want to foul Jimmy. I don't know why they literally just let him walk to the basket, which was ridiculous. But yeah, the Bucks were able to win a game they probably shouldn't have won. Yeah, props in game one for them to win that game. And then game two, the Bucks absolutely destroyed the Heat, 132-98. Yeah, they just opened it up in the fourth quarter, scoring 12 threes in the first quarter alone. And the Bucks were able to knock down a franchise record 22 three-point field goals in that game. Bryn Forbes was absolutely on fire for the Bucks. I'm pretty sure he scored 22 or 3 points in that game. So just total domination in game two. As well as game three. Game three, the Heat only managed to score 84 points to the Bucks 113. Miami only shot 37.6% for the game, so really strong defense by the Bucks. Brook Lopez again playing well. He punished his opponents in the paint on the offensive end, as well as defensively he played well. And yeah, this game was a sight to behold for sure. And then in game four, Giannis struggled in the first half, but he's played really well in the second half and was able to tally a triple-double. Again, Brook Lopez played really well. He put up 25 points in the Bucks' 120-103 win. Giannis's numbers, he had 20 points, 12 rebounds, and a career high of 15 assists. He was passing dimes all night long for the Bucks. And yeah, impressive that the Bucks are able to sweep in this series, considering how talented Miami is. I really expected a lot more out of them. The Heat they didn't play like how I expected them to play at all in this series until the first quarter or two in game four. Then the Bucks they put the pedal to the metal and they were able to shut down the Heat in game four and really in this entire series. I love this quote from Giannis. Giannis's post-game interview with Inside the NBA crew regarding getting the sweep of the Heat. Giannis said, "We don't play with their food." I love that quote. And then just taking a look at the numbers here in this series, Giannis was the leading scorer for the Bucks. He in this playoff series, he averaged 23.5 points a game, 15 rebounds, and 7.8 assists. Bam was the leading scorer for the Heat. He put up 15.5 points, 9.3 rebounds, and 4.3 assists. The series averages, the Bucks had 118.5 to Miami's 98. So that the Bucks defense held the Heat to under 100 points for the series. That is very impressive in today's NBA, especially in the playoffs. The Bucks out-rebounded the Heat 59 to 42.3 in the series. And then assists-wise, the Bucks had 26.8 to the Heat's 21.5. So this series was not even close. I was very surprised once again how well the Bucks played and just how bad they made the Heat look. So yeah, huge congrats for the Bucks to be moving on to the second round. They're the first team in the second round, And now I'm going to talk about the next series here, which is the Nets and Celtics. Now, this series went 5 games. The Nets got a gentleman's sweep. The Celtics did take game 3, and I will talk about that here shortly. Briefly go through each game. Game 1 was pretty close. The Nets pulled it off 104-93. Kevin Durant led the Nets in scoring with 32 points. Kyrie added 29 as the Nets were able to overcome a slow start in this game. The Celtics were leading a good portion of this game, but yeah, the Nets just kind of just pulled away in this one. Yeah, and that was it for game 1. Game 2 was a blowout, 130-108 Nets. Kevin Durant and Joe Harris combined for 51 points on 17 for 26 shooting, and Brooklyn put up 40 in the first quarter. And yeah, this was just a commanding win for the Nets. Boston really stood no chance in this one. And then game 3, this was Tatum's 50-point game. Here, in which the Celtics were able to pull it off, 125-119. And the Nets' big 3 put up 96 points, combined points in this game. But that wasn't enough, and Boston took it in this one. And Kemba Walker struggled in this game. Game 4, another blowout by the Nets. Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden combined for 104 points to take a 3-1 lead in the series. And again, Kemba Walker struggled in this one. I think he was hurt, actually. Kemba Walker didn't even play in this game. So, yeah, that really hurt the Celtics a lot. And then we had the water bottle incident in this one. That was pretty terrible. Or after this game, where a Celtics fan threw a water bottle at Kyrie Irving. That's just ridiculous. And then game 5, which just... the Nets wrapped up the series last night, 123-109. James Harden had his 4th career playoff triple-double, and in which the Nets eliminated the Celtics. Kemba Walker did not play in this game. That really hurt the Celtics. Just Boston could not overcome the Celtics' big 3 in this series. I'm not surprised. They're just so dominant in this series. They were lucky to even win 1 game, and that was a huge credit to Jason Tatum. The series leaders here, James Harden led the Nets in scoring with 27.8 points. I'm surprised that he led the Nets in scoring and not KD. And Harden had 7.2 rebounds and then 10.6 assists. So he was the leading passer for Brooklyn. For the Celtics, Jason Tatum led the Celtics in points with 30.6, 5.8 rebounds, and 4.6 assists. The series averages here, Brooklyn had 123.4 points to Boston's 112.2. Rebounds, Brooklyn had a slight edge, 41.6 to 41.4. So, yeah, that wasn't really a huge advantage. It was mainly the scoring. Assists-wise, Brooklyn did have a sizable advantage, 3-assist advantage, 24-21. So, yeah, Boston not having Jaylen Brown in this series definitely hurt, but I still don't think they would have won this series even with him in. And if Kemba was on his game, I still don't think they would have won. Oh, also, Robert Williams was out the last 2 games too, and he had I think it was an 8 or 9 block game in the first game of the series. Yeah, I think it was game 1. Robert Williams just balled out, and he was hurt for game 4 and 5, so that hurt the Celtics as well. But yeah, congrats to the Nets. Their big 3 finally played like a string of games together, and they looked very dominant. They looked so dominant, and yeah, on to the moment you've all been waiting for, where I discuss the Brooklyn Nets and Milwaukee Bucks Eastern Conference Semifinal Series. I think the key in this one is it's not going to be slowing down the big 3 necessarily. Well, yeah, obviously that would be what you'd expect me to say, is slowing down the big 3. But I think the key for the Bucks is to get on the glass. As you see, the Bucks have a huge rebounding advantage in the playoffs so far. So if the Bucks can get on the glass, I mean that would be a huge way for the Bucks to to overcome all the Nets scoring. They're gonna need Giannis. They're gonna need Giannis and Brook Lopez and their entire team really to be on the glass, but mainly those two guys. Another key for the Bucks is how well Bryn Forbes and Pat Connaughton play on both ends of the floor, filling in for Dante DiVincenzo. I do expect Pat Connaughton to start because Coach Bud likes Bryn Forbes off the bench role. So yeah, I expect Pat to start. So hopefully he's at least adequate starting. And then Bryn Forbes can come off the bench and do his thing, shooting the ball. Yeah, he's gonna be huge in this series, as well as Bobby Portis off that bench. Yeah, the Bucks are gonna need a lift in scoring off the bench. Also, another key is how the Bucks defend the Nets' big three. I would think Giannis is gonna be on KD. I would love to see Giannis on KD. Probably James Harden on Chris Middleton maybe, and then Drew Holiday on Kyrie Irving. That's gonna be fun. Oh man, the matchups are gonna be so exciting. I think where the Nets really have a strong advantage is gonna be Kyrie. Where the Nets really have a strong advantage is Harden on, or is not Harden, or yeah, the Nets really have the strong advantage in star power with Harden, Durant, and Kyrie Irving, but the Bucks do match up really well. Like going through all those matchups, they do match up well. And at the center position, the Bucks do have a huge advantage with Brook Lopez over Bruce Brown and Nicholas Claxton. DeAndre Jordan hasn't played in this series, which a little surprising. I'm not for sure if he's been hurt or what the deal is. I should have probably looked into that before this video, but DJ hasn't played, so it'll be interesting to see if he plays in this series. Also, Jeff Green is most likely going to be out for this series, so that does hurt the Nets bench. So the Bucks do have an advantage there. So really, looking at this, the only place where the Nets have a distinct advantage is their star power and scoring. The Bucks really have the advantage everywhere else, on the glass, rebounding, with assists. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. And yeah, I'm most excited for the Bucks' big three versus the Nets' big three, how they do, and also how the Bucks utilize Brook Lopez. Will be interesting to see. I'd like to see him crash on the glass and staying in the paint. Yeah, that'll be interesting. And then it'll be fun to watch the Bucks bench with Bryn Forbes and Bobby Portis to see what they do. And I'm guessing Jeff Teague is going to get more minutes as well off the Bucks bench, so that would be interesting to see. And and for the Nets, be interested to see if DeAndre Jordan plays, and really how the Nets bench matches up with the Bucks. They don't really have as strong of a bench, but yeah, I would think Claxton's going to be coming off the bench for them. They got Landry Shamet off the bench, so yeah, that'll be interesting. That'll be something to watch. And I wonder what Blake Griffin's impact is going to be on this series. He'll probably be in the pick and roll a lot, and probably on the boards too as well for the Nets. So I'm very excited for this series, and I didn't even mention Game 1 is on Saturday at 7:30 Eastern Time, 6:30 Central Time, which is my time, on TNT. So I'm very much looking forward to this. It is going to be fun. And I didn't even mention Giannis, man. Well, I did mention Giannis on KD. That's going to be the most exciting matchup of this series, and I can't wait. I cannot wait for this series. All right, to wrap up this video, let's take a look at the playoff bracket here and kind of just look at how each series is going so far. We'll look at the Western Conference first. Utah has a 3-1 lead on Memphis. The Grizzlies have fought really hard in that series, but they've looked like a 1 seed. They've played really well. Clippers, Mavericks, this series it started out kind of close, but now there's been some lopsided victories by each team, and it's tied 2-2. Nuggets, Blazers, this series has been really close with the exception of Game 4, I believe, where the Nuggets got blown out by the Blazers. But yeah, Denver now leads 3-2. Damian Lillard put up 55 points last night, but that wasn't enough as the Nuggets took Game 5. And then the Suns-Lakers series, not really what a lot of people probably expected. The Suns are up 3-2, and Anthony Davis is out for game 6 tonight. So, or not game, or he was out for game 5. He's going to be out for game 6 as well tomorrow night. Yeah, so Thursday night, Davis will be out again. I can't remember what his injury is. But yeah, the Suns are up 3-2, looking to close out the Lakers. So that would be huge if the defending champions get eliminated. Yeah, so 3 out of the 4 series, each 3 out of the 4 series in the West are nearing being completed, nearing being closed out, or can be closed out in the next game, I should say. Then we got Sixers Wizards over here in the East. Sixers lead 3-1. This series really hasn't been close, but Washington did pick up a victory in game 4. We got the Knicks Hawks. The Hawks lead that series 3-1. They've been dominating the series, except for really game 2 where the Knicks won. And then there's the Bucks and the Nets series. So yeah, that is the playoff bracket so far. I will have another NBA playoffs podcast very soon because most of these series are going to be closed out within the next day or two. So yeah, I'll keep a close eye on these other series for sure. And yeah, we'll have another NBA playoffs video soon. Hopefully you all enjoyed this one, and I hope you all have been enjoying the playoffs as well. And I will and I will be back with another video soon. Bye everybody, and enjoy the rest of your day.